Oh my goodness. What do you think of all of that? Do you think the man has talent or what?
Well, my screen was blank. I couldn't see him. I could only hear the sound. I hope the viewers could see him.
Oh, you couldn't see him?
I couldn't see him.
Oh, really?
I don't know if the viewers could see him or not, but for some reason, my screen was blanked out, but I could hear the sound.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it could be because I'm using a different screen. I'm trying to do two. How are you, Chuck? How you doing?
Okay. Miss Sasha is behind me right now, taking a little bath.
Okay,
Washing her
let's see if
face.
they got to see it. I hope they got to see the koala song.
I hope so too. Well, you showed me a little earlier, the koala. It's just adorable. I was telling you how much I love them.
Oh no, they got to see the koala. Oh no,
Good.
click to enter full screen.
Oh, well, we'll just let this little Siamese cat here substitute.
Oh well. Yeah, I was trying to use the wow.
Oh.
Click to exit full screen. So that's all they showed.
Oh.
Oh well. I'm sorry.
What you showed me before the show was adorable.
It's a little koala song. I know. Well, I was trying to somehow. I was doing it on the other one because last time when I try to do two things at once, it makes my image kind of blurry. Anyway, hi everybody.
Hi.
How is everyone? It is Taco Tuesdays. We are with you on this beautiful April 1st. I was trying to think of something to say that would be
April Fools.
Yeah, like I was going to say, I'm joining the Republican Party.
Nobody would
decided that MAGA. Yeah, I'm just joining the Republican Party. I've got a huge crush on Trump, and I just
well, that's true. I know you've been in love with him for a number of years,
and so I've just decided that I'm going to go MAGA.
In fact, I decided, he's not so bad. He's actually, I think he has potential to be one of our greater presidents.
That's
April
right.
Fool.
April Fool.
Before anybody out there thinks
Before
we could
anybody
even be remotely serious.
We don't need anyone to unsubscribe.
No, we don't. We don't. No.
So
people
listen,
know how we feel.
Chucky Poo, Poo. Listen, I ordered your book. I'm very excited about the book, Chucky Poo.
I am too.
We, as you know, are book lovers. Who here loves to read a good book? I know. You do, Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
We had a lot of fun last week.
Yes. We ran almost an hour on the interview. I had to cut you guys short. We ran over 45 minutes on 30 minutes.
It was pretty close to it. We were very much into it. We could have easily have kept talking.
Yeah, I know. The 30 minutes is not enough time, particularly with her because she had a second book, and I felt like the second book was more. She's.
Well, we'll have her on again.
We will have her on about. So this book, the book for the month of April, we have selected it is The Sunny Side of Crazy, and it's written by Trisha McCucci, and it's available on Amazon.com, and it of course is about dissociative disorder, which I think is absolutely fascinating. And that is our book of the month.
I'm looking forward to it. I should have it in the mail any day now.
Oh, you know what I really like about Trisha already, and I haven't met her yet.
Tell me.
Is the little effort she put into personalizing. Excuse me. She signed our book, and then of course she gave a little baby shoe
Oh, yes, I remember you saying that.
which I love, which of course represents walking the child's innocence. And I just
Yes.
appreciated the little extra
I always
that she
loved
put.
signed books. I love holding a book in my hands that was personalized by the author. Or
Mm,
especially when I go, like here in LA, I go to a lot of signings with celebrities who sign their autobiographies. That just makes it all the more special to have their energy there, knowing this book was in their hands,
mm.
or at least their hand was on the book. You know, I don't.
So, Cory Booker, people are talking about, he sat and gave, he was on the
Yeah,
floor for 18 hours.
he broke the record. There was a news flash of about half hour before the show. He now has the record. I think he's still talking.
He broke it at 18:05 p.m. He must have
Yeah.
had one of those trucker devices. You heard about those trucker devices?
What are the trucker devices? Are they like adult diapers?
Yeah,
That's what I thought too.
they it's a hose you put your willy in.
Oh, yes. A friend of mine, when he had a stroke and when he was in recovery, he had to wear one of those. I know what
Oh,
you're
wow.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so not quite as invasive as a catheter, but you can pick those up. They're different. I would not be surprised. I would have to use one of those if it was 18 and a half hours.
Yeah. Oh, I think any human being would have to do something. I just thought maybe adult diapers, but that would make sense. Well, if I'm not being too graphic, when my friend had his, it was basically like a condom and it had a tube attached to it.
Right, right,
And it
right.
was, of course, put on his penis, and then the tube ran down his leg, and there was a collection bag.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the interesting thing was, is out of it as he was after the stroke, he was still embarrassed. He was so ashamed when anyone would see that, and he would always try to like cover it up, put his leg over it or something, anything so people wouldn't see it. I guess that was still intact in his brain. He still realized what it was.
Oh my God, that's just so
Yeah,
losing our health is such
it
a
is.
difficult thing, isn't it, Chuck?
It sure
Well,
is.
and I'm so grateful to everybody who's been understanding. I caught a second case of COVID. I'm trying to
Yeah.
backtrack and figure out when I caught it. I'm pretty sure I caught it on my birthday.
Yeah, and this is your second time with this.
Yeah, much lighter than the first time I got it.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I was very concerned about you. I was watching
Yeah.
your shows. That's how I knew about it.
So it makes me wonder because that was March 22nd and I started showing symptoms of feeling run down around the 25th or the 26th. So I think it must incubate in your system about 3-4 days before
I
you
guess
start to
that's
get
about right
symptoms.
then. Yeah, I was just going to ask you
Yeah.
the incubation
So,
period.
because I don't really go out and socialize all that much,
No,
and
you
I was
don't.
trying to think of when did I contract it? When did I contract? And I can breathe. You guys, I'm not coughing as much as I was last week, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm thinking that must have been what happened. Somebody had asked, why are people still getting COVID? Because viruses mutate,
And
they mutate as they jump from host to host. And so that's why they keep changing. And that's why vaccinations always have to be updated. You're going to
well,
comment on
I
something?
even wonder if people are still getting their booster shots. I think a
Hmm.
lot of people I know, when I ask them, they go, "Oh no, I haven't bothered with that. We
I
don't
had
need."
3 boosters. Obviously, if I hadn't been boosted, it would be much more serious. It was still bad. I still felt pain in my chest,
Oh, I'm
pain in my
terribly sorry.
lungs, trouble breathing.
Yeah.
It's a really scary thing,
Would
these
you
diseases.
feel you're bouncing back quicker than you have before?
Oh, I just my 6:30 appointment just canceled. She's really sick. So I'm wondering if COVID I wonder if COVID is just running around. How many people here have COVID? I've gotten 2 or 3 people telling me they've got COVID. So I'm wondering,
Oh,
I'm just gonna let my patient know.
okay. I feel like I should be doing that as your assistant. I should be typing a response.
No,
But
it's my 6:30. I have a 6:30. But that's okay. Now we can run late without me worrying about my 6:30.
okay.
Yeah, I know 2 or 3 other people also catching COVID at exactly the same time that I caught it. So I think what happens is that, we have different bouts when we get spring break. Like I went on a spring break with my family. It was early in the month. We had an early spring break. I went to Puerto
Oh,
Vallarta
Yes.
And instead of breaking, I completed my doctoral degree.
You worked. But at least you did it in the sunshine. And I hope you had a nice drink in your hand and a
I
lawn
mean, I
chair.
flew back from Puerto Vallarta. I was in the middle of completing my thesis. As you know, I'm getting my second doctoral. And I got so I was angry about something which motivated me to get back into the doctoral degree, which is
We've talked about that, about how anger is a great
anger
motivator.
can motivate you to because
Yes.
I had put it on the shelf and I was like, well, they're going to take my data and turn it into the Trump thing, whatever. And I just gave up. And then I thought, to heck with that. I'm going to finish what I started and what my vision was. And so instead of resting, I was working 16 to 18 hours. I was falling asleep, waking up again at 4 a.m. And then when I flew home, and I think you were one of the people, oh, how was your vacation? I think the first thing out of my mouth was, I'm exhausted. I'm completely exhausted. And you're like, what?
But you know what, Whimsy? I think you're like me. When you're doing what you're passionate about, what you love, it's not work entirely. Because I'll be like that. If I get on one of my art projects or a writing project or something, I can go like 16, 17, 18 hours also. But I'm loving it.
I'm loving it. And now I'm done with it. And now my second project is I'm writing about living like an aristocrat on a budget, which you're the co-author of.
We're working on that right now.
And we're not going to meet in April because I'm flying directly. Yeah. And so, but I will meet you after that. I'll come back, I'll rest. And then, or would you like to come here? Would you like to come can I get you to fly out here to Portland? Maybe we could do that instead. I don't know. Would you rather I go there?
Well, why don't we talk about it? I don't know.
We'll talk about it later. I mean, like part of me thinks that maybe it would be better to pay for you to just come stay here and we have a guest room we can have you stay in or something. And it's up to you. We'll talk about it. We'll talk, but then you'd have to have somebody take care of your cat. Yeah. Listen, who's all here? Can you and say hi to people for us?
Who's all here? We of course have our wonderful Joel Tilson. Thank you so much, Joel, for all you do for us. And you know what? Let me put these on. I have these multifocal contact lenses, but when I have to read this little type, this is easier. Candace O'Toole, MK Karen. I love how she says, love that man, Booker, a man of steel. Yeah, he's a hero.
And a bladder of steel.
Yes. Iron cast bladder. Let's see, Candace O'Toole, TW, Pink Justice, great name. Shay, Roshandi, Earthling, Amy Elizabeth, JS, let's see, Sybil, K Travel, Tarot.
Oh, hi, Kay.
I'm trying not to repeat names here. Let's see, let me keep scrolling here. Kimberly, Joe, Diva 369. Yeah.
Oh gosh, it looks like
we got a lot of people here. We appreciate every one of you. Desiree, Donna Ann, Sybil, Holly, Geo Cosmic Valentine. That is a great name also.
Yes. Now, Chuck, have you been keeping up with the news? Let's just get into it. Mm-hmm. What is the most, in terms of what people most want to talk about, I think it's the fact that we do have a special election. A lot of money has been poured into this election. Isn't that true?
Yeah. Well, I read in one report today, the most expensive election of this type of local judicial election in U.S. history, around $99 million, one report. But this is what really intrigued me, $20 million from Elon Musk. $20 million. And then, of course, his little sweepstakes thing, game show, or whatever you want to call it, where 2 lucky voters would get $1 million check.
What's the ethics of that? Like, why isn't somebody putting a stop to that?
Well, yes, it's been pointed out that is highly unethical, but he's not being stopped, obviously. Though I wonder about those 2 individuals who got those checks. I wonder if their names are publicly revealed, what kind of consequences are they going to face? Like, is there going to be a public outrage taken out on them?
I think that last time the whole thing had been fake. like he had prearranged the people, they were friends of his, and I
Okay.
think that it turned out that they really didn't get the
Really?
money, and the whole
I didn't
yeah,
know that.
like how he was able to not get in trouble in Pennsylvania was that the whole thing it turned
Yeah.
out to be staged. It was just like a
I
staged
never heard that.
performance.
That makes a lot of sense. That sounds like old Elon. And then, of course, Trump's little slip about the voting machines in Pennsylvania and how Elon took care of that.
What does that mean exactly, though, do you think?
Well,
When he says that,
I know.
is he saying that well, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think's going on?
Well, my
I'm
first
confused.
thought was rigged voting, but I don't know. It never has been pursued. No one has really jumped on
Do you
it.
think they really need to? Like a lot of experts say that the Republicans didn't need to do rigged voting because all they had to do was suppress the vote in certain districts
Well,
by denying people the right to vote. So
I guess they're
isn't
just
that
covering
just
all
as
their
bad?
bases, doing whatever it takes. But
Mm.
yeah, it's a lot of voters I saw on the news today being interviewed in Wisconsin. We're like, we don't like Elon Musk. We don't like what he's doing. We're aware he's trying to buy us, and we don't care for this. So people do seem to at least be onto it.
Well, we certainly hope so. And of course, there's plenty of other stuff going on in the news. The tariffs, 25%. I am baffled as to why this is even happening. Any opinion
Uh,
about that?
well, I know it's just my personal opinion, but I think Trump is deliberately trying to destroy the economy.
Well, that's what people are saying.
Yeah.
What would be the benefit of that? What
Well,
would be the benefit of the
Well, for one thing, his benefit and the benefit of his billionaire cronies. Let's drive down all the stocks so they can be bought up cheap, drive down property values so they can be bought cheap, so the billionaires can all sweep in and take up all this. And then some are theorizing that he's trying to create a greater divide between the very, very rich and the rest of us and making us all very poor and dependent. I mean, those are just theories and opinions. But I just think it's so obvious he's trying to deliberately destroy the economy.
if he is an ally of Mother Russia, and sometimes it looks like he is, don't
Yes.
you? If United States is basically Russia now, then taking Greenland would mean that he's taken everything. He's taken North America.
Oh, sure. Well, Greenland would give him a closer path to
The Bering
invading
Straits.
Europe, the Bering Straits, the shipping, aside from the Panama Canal. So I think I read that going up north through there is actually more efficient than going through the Panama Canal. So there would be that closer access to Russia, closer access to Europe, which has a lot of European countries very nervous right now, especially Denmark at this moment. I mean,
So by America being there, it's Russia being there.
Yeah.
If he's basically saying that America has fallen to Russia, it's basically the same as giving Greenland to Russia.
Well, it seems
because if we are in cahoots with Russia, then ultimately who benefits from U.S. troops in Greenland? Russia.
And then aren't there a lot of precious minerals, rare mineral rights?
Right, and oil, just like
Nigeria. I think there's a lot of lithium there, which is it lithium that's needed for making batteries, for like cell phones and
yeah, I know that there's a lot of really important stuff there, and
a lot of
people don't want. I mean, it's just like they're parasites. That's what it feels like to me. It's parasitic.
Also, again, this is just personal opinion, but it just feels so much like Hitler, invading countries. Here's the wannabe dictator.
It's very scary.
Yeah, and Canada. I have a very dear friend in Canada and British Columbia. We talk about this all the time. The Canadians they're outraged, but they're also nervous. They're worried, just like the people in Denmark are worried. The people in Europe are worried. People in Greenland are worried. We've got this lunatic in the White House, and we don't know what he's going to do. So he's got the whole world on edge.
The big fear was that we would get a fascist in the White House that was a smarter version of Donald Trump. The question now is, did that happen when Elon Musk backed into the White House?
Well, it would seem that way, but now he's claiming he's served after 130 days. He has to leave Doji because then I think that's like the limit for someone who has not been elected to an official position, or what is the terminology for it? Where he doesn't have to disclose his finances and so far. Anyway, he's claiming he wants to leave. So I don't know what that's about.
Oh, Elon Musk wants to quit?
Well, that was in the news today. Yeah, he's planning to leave Doji. Yeah, but I wonder what's the ulterior motive behind it. What's really going on?
Well, he has no choice. His business is going up in flames, and he's having personal meetings. He was having a meeting today. I didn't go to it.
Well, you know,
for people on X, and I never should go up. I did one. I get bored. I don't go to those things, but sometimes you can really find out what's going on. But more than likely, he's been called in to get it together because, I don't approve of what's going on with these Tesla stuff being destroyed. Tesla's a great company.
Right.
It's a good car.
Sure.
And
but it's so tainted right now.
Yeah, and now all these really great people and really great engineers and people that put out a really good product are out of work. It's hard enough to work for a company like Tesla without having to deal with without having a boss who's crazy.
Well, also a lot of innocent people are being hurt. They're having their cars keyed,
I don't approve of any of this. I don't
vandalized, windows smashed. I've heard that some people are even putting stickers over the part of the car that says Tesla, as a way of saying, I don't support this, but this is my car. This is what I have. Because, not everyone, like myself, I don't have the luxury of getting another car right now, especially when the cost of a car may be going up, $6,000 to $8,000 or something in the coming months. I know that's another story there. But yes, a lot of innocent people are being victimized. I agree with you there. But I was going to say, Elon Musk, I saw a thing the other night where he was in Wisconsin and he admitted on the floor, on the stage, my stock has lost half its value. He admitted it himself. He said, this has been quoting him, this has been a very expensive job for me. But I still think there's something very lucrative in this for him.
Well, sure, because his private investors in his company got linked back to foreign governments that he was putting the loop in. United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Russia are all part of the Abraham Accords. But what I think the Abraham Accords is a good idea. I think it will finally see an end of war in the Middle East if we can get the Abraham Accords, because how do you put an end to a war when people become investors in the country? I don't want to bomb that country. I'm an investor, right? So this is why it works. My criticism of the Abraham Accords is that you want everybody involved. And also you can't have someone like Putin involved because he's crazy.
No, you can't. He's as crazy, if not crazier than Trump.
Yes.
Got the two.
And drug addicted, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, and also, ironically, Musk, with ketamine. And then we've talked before on the show about Trump. I've said to you myself, I have been around enough people who are crystal meth addicts, and I've seen that kind of behavior. To me, what Trump is very consistent with that kind of behavior. I thought that during his first term, when I would watch his press conferences and he would just go off the deep end, start yelling at reporters. Well, that's a nasty question. Well, you're a nasty woman. That kind of erratic behavior.
Emotional immaturity combined with some kind of a pharmaceutical like an amphetamine or something like that.
But the thing with Trump, I was just going to say earlier, about how he's got clearly ulterior motives. And it was so interesting when, under the guise of we're going to find fraud in Social Security, it's so interesting. The first thing he did was start bringing his team of boys in, like one called Big Balls or something, and they had their own laptops, and they're getting all of our Social Security information, our numbers, our banking information, personal information. And I think it was Heather Cox Richardson who was talking about this. She said, right now there is so much competition for artificial intelligence development, and as we know, Musk wants to be on the forefront of that. So this is data, valuable data he is collecting that nobody else has access to.
Well, every time information goes through Starlink, it's like passing through an airport, isn't it? I mean, isn't Starlink collecting everything that passes through Starlink? In which case, The ultimate goal of Starlink is to collect information, and that's so like him. If you've done, oh, there's my baby. If you've done a profile on Elon Musk, it's all about control and incredible fear of others leaving him, to the point where he wants to trap us in his little world, his little matrix, so we can't leave. You guys want to bring in the empath prayer? We can do some blitzes. Does that sound like fun?
Sounds good.
And of course, if anybody would like to receive a healing at this time, we can go ahead. We can do the empath prayer, and then we can include you or those you love in a healing. And hopefully it will be a good healing. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right. So without further ado, let's bring in the empath prayer. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively we say, Amen.
Amen.
And for those of you who are receiving healing at this time, for you and for those you love, we pray that you receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and spirit. And together collectively as a community, again, we say, Amen,
Amen.
Amen, Amen. May all souls be healed. Well, let's get into it. What kind of crazy, wacky questions are there in this crazy, wacky world, Chuck? What's happening out there? Anybody need us to do a blitz? What are we seeing here?
What are we seeing here? Here's some requests for some healing. Let's see. Let me scroll through this, see what some questions are.
Documents won't go to court while Trump is in office, says Joel Tilson. Documents case will go to court after Cannon is removed, he says. Interesting.
No, which documents? Which documents?
That he took all those I can't believe he took those documents home with him and didn't face criminal charges.
Oh, you mean Trump and all the boxes in his bathroom? Yeah. Well, I think he was granted immunity for that, wasn't he? Thanks to our wonderful Supreme Court, you know. I don't
really? Is that what happened?
Well, didn't the Supreme Court give Trump immunity, saying that this was during his presidency, so he was within his rights to do that sort of thing? I mean, I don't know. It's immoral. It's wrong, but he gets away with everything.
So Joel Tilson says there's a lot of important people behind the scenes trying to remove Trump. Do you want to throw in cards to see if what the energy is like over whether or not people in positions of power are, including his own cabinet, are trying to remove him? Looks like poor little Elon feels like nobody's his friend anymore. I feel bad.
Oh, Elon going, I don't know why people are mad at me.
Can you imagine having so little self-awareness? You can't see how you talk to people is causing people to become angry.
He has got to be one of the most hated human beings on the planet right now. One of the most, anyway. So I'm just seeing what's coming up here.
All right. Are they trying to remove him? What does it look like? Are we talking about the cabinet removing him?
I'm still pulling here. Let's see.
We should have gone longer with our April Fools. We should have really driven them. I couldn't keep it going, though.
Well, I have one card here. I think I got a lot of cards that are showing the climate, the mood, the feeling. There are no surprises, but I do think I have a final card here that will help. But what was interesting, I had one card just my method is to keep shuffling cards till they fall out of the deck. And this one dropped on the floor. Priorities. And you're probably going, no shit. Yeah, priorities. You have big priorities. But I got community, meaning the collective body, the people. In fact, with community, I got physical body, the collective body to mean that. And of course, some of these cards I acknowledge are obvious, like discontent, decisions. But I also got epiphany, higher thinking, higher consciousness, things behind the scene, higher good. And ultimately, the card with the judicial scales, balance, the courts, the laws, higher reasoning is going to come forth. That's what I get from this card. And what do you have, Whimsy?
Well, it's interesting. I did a blitz, just because I didn't want to do a full, but a private investigation is going on. So these things take forever, but the high priestess is there, which would indicate trying to uncover something. And moon, this is moon energy, which is the hidden energy, the lunar energy, and then the lunatic. So there's some kind of thing that's going on under the curtains that people may not know about. And then the opposition, Trump, I keep seeing coronary artery disease and these false promises, the seducer who gave the false promises, the Knight of Cups. Every card has a negative aspects. Smooth operator is the Knight of Cups, and that's exactly how he's presented as the opposition, is the smooth operator, the Knight of Cups. Three of Swords, I keep seeing heart disease over Trump.
Yes, you have said that.
Well, he's the opposition to the investigation, and he's presented as a Three of Swords, which I'm thinking, again, it's almost as if it's saying an investigation is started, but his heart disease or health issues takes him out before he's removed. That almost seems to be what it's saying.
Well, you've been saying
hopes
that.
and fears, he defends himself, his position against the world. And then here, evidence, but he crashes.
Yeah.
There's a crash coming. I'm telling you.
April?
I think we're going to see a stock market crash in April. I've warned people about a stock market crash.
That's obvious. I think that's almost obvious.
But I think in the next 3 weeks, all hell is going to break loose. And I've warned people. Here is what I would say about April, because we are in April, and this is not an April Fool's. I think I should clarify that as well. This is not April Fool's. The next 3 to 4 weeks are going to be all hell is going to break loose. I think we're going to see a stock market crash. I think we're going to see aggression against Iran. And I think we're going to possibly see them march on Moscow. NATO's going to push forward. Because we have to, they're just now wrapping up phase 3, right? They're taking out Hamas.
Yeah.
Now, the people that are killing Hamas are Gaza has very powerful families. They're like mafiosa families. They're like well-respected families and clans and chiefs. And some of the clans and chiefs of Gaza want peace. They don't want war. They want oasis. They want oasis zones. So one of their people was murdered by Hamas yesterday.
Oh.
And so the clan went through the street and they found the man that assassinated their clan member, and they drug him to the front area and they assassinated him in front of everyone.
Oh, my God. So
now we have the situation where we're getting very close to step 3, where Hamas is kicked out and the people rise up and they create this beautiful oasis, which is ultimate. But I'll tell you, step 2 is all hell breaks loose in Gaza, and there's this fighting that happens between Hamas and the people. That's happening now. Step 4 is the people the people take out Putin.
Yeah. Well, I can't help but see parallels with here. It feels like all hell is breaking loose here as well.
Yeah, we're there. I mean,
and there's going to be an uprising.
Week
of the
3,
people.
we're seeing finally the fall of Hamas, which is phase 2, and going into phase 3, which is the rebuild. So we're seeing that phenomenon starting to happen, which is phase 3, and we're starting to see Russia falling. Russia is falling, and it's getting closer to NATO marching on Moscow. And then finally, phase 5, I think we could see the West bombing Iran. And it is not wag the dog. Anybody who's been watching the show for the last couple of years, we've talked about phases 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
Even 1, 2, and 3, Biden talked about. And then the inevitable progression is that both Russia and Iran will fall. So this has been planned for many years. It's not a wag the dog. It was planned even before Trump got in office.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I know you've been saying for actually since the beginning of the year that something huge is happening in April, and it's like cataclysmic, like around the world. Like we're all going to be affected by this, not just America. So yeah, but it feels like, because I know we've been getting readings where ultimately like all hell is going to break loose. It's going to get horrific for a while, but we are going to rise above this and we're going to be more powerful. And ultimately it's going to be good. Ultimately.
So we can go ahead and we'll take a look at answering the questions, because there were a few people that wanted to know about April. So I think we'll just go into it. Joel Tilson says that Iran is threatening to strike the U.S. base Diego Garcia today. So can we take a look at this tension that's happening with Iran and the United States? We'll go into that first.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's going to happen between the United States and Russia in the next couple of weeks? I'm thinking it ain't good. That if you really want me to tell you what I honestly think, I'm thinking we cannot look, folks. We can't sit back and let Iran build a nuclear weapon, and they're threatening to bomb anybody and everybody. It's oh my God, there's like 3 or 4 people that just said they've got COVID.
Oh, dear.
I think it's because it's that, Chuck, I think it's post spring break. Don't you think that we get these things start to happen?
Well, I know when people party a little too hard, don't get enough sleep, drink too much, so forth, they run their bodies down. But I also know just from people I've been talking to, and that includes people all over the country, and I make phone calls, people are stressed right now. People are worried. And you and I both know what that does to the immune system. It's almost like it invites viruses, parasitic energy to come in and take over, invade the body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's, it's like a perfect storm of various elements. But I think stress has a lot to do with it. Worry.
I was surprised. I knew it was. I knew by the way my lungs felt that it was COVID before I tested. But yeah, so if you got COVID, it's probably because the stress and also spring break. Yeah.
So,
all right, so we're going to look at Iran and the United States in April. Will there be any kind of military action?
I'm still trying to get an answer here. See, I'm trying to get something more conclusive here. A lot of vague cards, but I'm trying to elaborate upon a card I got, because I got death, but I'm trying to elaborate upon that, and because I know how the gravity of such a card. I'm God, got loss, death, loss, but I'm trying to see where this is going. Oh God, this doesn't look so good. I got these cards: deprivation, suffering, loss, death. I want it to be more positive, but
listen, I don't think that Khamenei can live much longer. Talking about the death of Ibrahim Raisi, who was the vice president when he died in the helicopter crash. And then I was asked to do a remote remember when Ibrahim Raisi died in the crash, and I was asked to do a remote. When I did a remote, I saw a thermos of tea. And I saw that the thermos of tea had been handed to the pilot, and that once they had been in the air for about 10, 20 minutes and were stable, they poured the tea and drank the tea. And then
Yes.
they got sick and crashed into the mountain.
Yeah.
And then as I went further into the vision, they found the bodies and they said, oh, they died in the helicopter crash. The helicopter has no problems, so it must have just been an accident. And they said, we will not order an autopsy on religious grounds. So they never detected the poison in the system,
Right.
because
Right.
he was a devout Muslim. So they just assumed, well, he died in the crash. There's no
Yeah.
need for an autopsy. And then the other thing I saw in the remote was that it was carried out by elements in the IRGC, which was the Iranian Guard that wants to take out Khamenei. So,
Yeah.
so to understand what's going on, Raisi was a religious fanatic who was funding Hezbollah. So when they took him out, they feared that he was going to be the next in line.
Yeah.
They had a soft coup, and then a more liberal, progressive secularist got in and became the VP. So if Khamenei goes, he'll be replaced by a secularist.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other thing. So we have this Two of Cups, this desire to go with a more moderate. They're trying to keep civil war from happening. They keep bringing people in from more religious areas like Afghanistan, because the people they can't keep the people holding on to the religion. But you can see here, Hanged Man. I think people want the Shah. People feel like the Shah is, they want a monarchy that's a democracy like Britain, with a symbol of, like the Shah, who can be a symbol of moderation and a democracy with it. That's what they want. You can see hanging it up is in their future. The global relationship. Two of Pentacles. I don't see any relationship between us and Iran opening up until the Shah's there. Two of Pentacles is like shaky grounds. I don't think that there's any future between Iran and the United States in terms of anything like, they talked about bringing them into the Abraham Accords. No way, not after October 7th. With the Two of Pentacles outcome, I would say in the next couple of weeks, expect more tension, because that's my 2 of weeks. That's my 2 weeks. Hangman in the opposition. There's no way they can save themselves. The people will rebel.
Yeah. I was trying to make sense of my own cards here. I was just getting such negativity, like, yuck, this is not good. And thank you for elaborating much more. I was having trouble.
Well, the opposition is the Hangman. Look, if you have to bring in thousands and thousands of people from Afghanistan just to get somebody to vote for you, then you're probably in trouble. And that's what they're doing. So the opposition is that ultimately they were hung up. Ultimately, the people, it was not sustainable. Two of Pentacles, like I said, a pentacle can be read as a week. It's also topsy-turvy energy. I think the next couple of weeks are going to be telling. I think some crazy stuff's going to go down.
Yeah. Sounds like this is just around the world.
Yeah.
The next 2 to 4 weeks, it's going to be a ride.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right, this up, and it isn't that we don't love you if we don't see everybody's questions. It's just that Joel is the floor director, and so he organizes the questions for everybody. If you have a question that you want asked, just say, Joel, can you make sure that she sees this question, or that Chuck sees it?
Yeah, thank you.
But we try to see everybody's questions, but that's why. Why do you always keep talking to Joel?
We need Joel.
He's just doing his job. Yeah. All right. Joel Tilton writes, China's war games have encircled Taiwan. You heard about this, Chuck? Any feelings about that?
I haven't heard anything recently about this. I know that this has been going on for decades. Animosity between China, Taiwan, China wanting Taiwan back. But what's the most recent thing going on? I'm not up on that.
Well, I think that they're just putting like a military blockade. This kind of military block, it could even prevent them from getting ships out or trying. See, this is what I'm concerned about when we go into the energy of the United States wanting to take Greenland and then partner with Russia. Hey, we'll partner up. Yay, shake hands. We're going to rate you and me, baby. We're taking North America. We're going to push on through. We're going to take Canada. We're going to take Greenland. And then we'll meet Russia on the other end, just like World War II, and we'll shake hands. and we'll have Greenland be like the East-West Germany. Yahoo!
I'm just thinking the shipping ports. We could cut people off. We could starve off people. Cut off resources. I mean, this is disturbing. I mean, the ideology behind it.
Well, when I did the remote a couple of years ago, actually, I think it was 7 years now, I just kept having visions of trade routes. What do I know? I don't know why people go to war. This is not my world. So it was like quite an education for me. Like, oh, it's about trade. I didn't realize. Oh no, it's really about trade. It's
the
about
veins and arteries of the world.
Yeah, the veins and arteries of the world. And so you have this tension between China and I'm not going to let you leave. You're trapped right here in Taiwan.
Oh God.
And then you have China pushing through and, hey, why don't you come on down here in Greenland and you and I will plow through into Alaska. And it's just like, oh, now I get what's happening. Now, when you look at it from a larger perspective, when you step back and you look at the globe, you start to think, oh my God, we're in some serious trouble here. Because if you look at just the world, if you look at a world map, you can start to see those trade routes with a little bit more clarity, I guess.
Yeah, clarity.
And it's just rather scary when you think about it.
Oh, it's very disturbing. I'm just right now feeling just really ominous energy. I think we're going to prevail, but I just right now it feels so ominous.
Well, what I did when I tried to figure this out is I just looked at the map, because let's be clear about who we are as Americans. We don't know where anything is. So it just helps to be able to look at the map and say, okay, where the hell is everything?
Yeah.
So can you see this okay, Chuck?
I can see it.
Am I doing this? Okay, great. Because last time I didn't do a very good job. But
Whimsy, if I may interject, Raymond just said that Danish warships are cruising the coast of Greenland.
Yeah, so we have this area here, and this is the area that Russia wants. You can see Russia up here.
Yes,
and over here, the United States. And
it's so close.
Yeah, so what basically is happening is that Putin and Trump are working together so that you take the high road and I'll take the low road. And I'll be in Ireland before you. Right. So we have Russia coming in through the straits and we have America coming in, and then they take this entire trade route right here, all into the Bering Strait.
Dear God.
Now, this gets to be even scarier, because if you look at it from Russia's perspective, what they're doing is a lasso. So they've come around here from the Bering Strait, and they've covered us all over here.
Yeah.
And then they come all the way around, and then up here in Cuba.
Gee.
So what they've done is a massive lasso. They've taken the United States and put us around a massive lasso.
Oh my God.
And you can see they're also coming down into parts of South America, trying to take parts of Brazil. And by the time you realize what I have done, it'll already be too late. Right. So that is, I don't know why there's a heart there. I think.
A heart?
Yeah. Somebody put a heart there. I think it's one of my patients must have done that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll take hearts wherever we can get them.
Yeah, I think somebody somehow did that. So one of my patients in Illinois.
Wait, isn't that heart on Wisconsin? I can't tell because the map's
Illinois. It's one of my patients in
Illinois. Okay.
Area. I don't know. Is that where that is? I don't know.
Yeah. If I could see that larger.
I don't live there, so I'm assuming it's one of my patients. It's linked up to my schedule with Booksy, and I had a client. I have a client from that area. I'm supposed to be calling, but she's sick.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is that that's what the heart is.
Okay.
So that's what I was trying to figure out with this map, is that it's a lasso. They're basically here's Cuba, and then he comes all the way around, and he's just taken this whole area.
Oh my God.
And at that point, you've got an embargo, don't you?
Yeah. I'm even thinking about all the commercial flights. Any of us who have flown to Europe, we know typically, at least here from the West Coast, we always fly over Greenland, when going to London.
Right.
I'm wondering how this is going to affect commercial air travel.
It could.
Yeah.
It could very much do that. And then you can see over here we have the Bering Strait and then Eastern Siberian Sea in Russia, this whole area. You can imagine the kind of power that Russia would have if
Oh
the
my God.
United States merged with them and became an ally.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then over here, then the problem continues. You have China threatening Japan. We have U.S. bases here, and then if Trump does what he says, he's going to start pulling U.S. troops from these areas, and then China can take all of this.
Oh.
Anybody having nightmares?
I'm just sitting here like, dear God. Dear God.
But that's what it looked like to me as a remote viewer.
Yeah.
What does it look like to you? You're psychic. I mean,
right now, and I want to emphasize in the moment, because as we know, energy shifts, it changes. I still remain optimistic, but in this moment, I'm feeling gloomy. I'm feeling like really dark, ominous, frightening energy. As I said earlier, it reminds me too much of Hitler, invading Poland, other countries, crazy lunatic dictators with these ideas are going to take over the world, take over the planet.
That looks well, the centralizing of power like that is what freaks me out when I look at the long-term goal of Russia and anybody who's an ally of Russia, and you're looking at that's a massive trade route. And and if they decided to be pissed off at us, my God, we'd be destroyed.
Well, yeah. And you remember the movie Network?
Yes.
Where they talked about how there are no nations anymore. It's corporations. It's money. Money is what it's all about. And so when you mention trade routes, that's the ultimate thing, opening up these trade routes. And I'm sure that's what the impetus is behind Trump wanting Greenland so bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very true. Okay, so that would be an answer to the thing on China and Taiwan. It's going to continue to be tense. We don't feel good about it at all. It's, we have to decide as Americans what we want. And there's got to be a way to develop relationships that are mutually positive without us taking it into something like war. But there's also, you get this feeling that they want revenge for all the embargoes and rotten things we've done to them. Like we've made life very hard for the people of Cuba, for example.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some have even said this is karma coming back to America for America's audacity for many decades. We've been gluttonous. We've been over-consuming, pillaging the planet, taking from others. Some feel that, and some are feeling like, it's got to balance out. It's like a retribution or something.
Yeah. Okay, before we close, a little bit of questions about the stock market. People wanted to know a little bit about that. Joel is asking about the tariff day starting tomorrow. Like I said, I've got very bad feelings about the stock market for April. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I've done everything in my power to warn people. You guys want to take
Trump is actually playing it up as a holiday. Like I forget what the terminology is, but like American Freedom Day or something like that, some BS. But he's going to announce a whole slew of tariffs tomorrow. So when you said you see the stock market crashing this month,
2.5 days of serious crashing is what I'm picking up right now. Let's take a look.
Whimsy, do you get that this could be the worst in history, like even worse than the Great Depression, the stock market crash, 29?
No, because our companies are too strong, and the creative juice of America will pull us through. The world relies. You'd have to work really hard to take down the U.S. economy because of how vital our industry is.
Okay.
But this is more the nest egg of people who will be retiring in the next couple of years. Who cares if industry continues if the American people are living in their cars? That's more where I'm coming from. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just talking to so many people so frightened right now. Nothing is scarier than when it's your own security, your livelihood, your security, your roof over your head. And that's what they seem to be gaslighting us with right now, purposely trying to terrify people.
Well, let's take a look at the stock market. I'm not feeling good about it.
Whimsy, how should we phrase the question, please? Or
how's the stock market going to be in the next couple of days?
Oh, fuck. Well, I tell you, the first card I pulled up, suffering. I haven't pulled other cards.
F-bomb? Did you just use an F-bomb when you saw that?
Did I? I apologize, folks. I try to watch my language, but sometimes I'm surprised sometimes myself when a card jumps out. Suffering. But let's see what else. Oh, loss, suffering. Do I keep going with these cards?
I don't know.
Sorry about that. Well, you've let the F-bomb out too, haven't you, Whimsy?
Yes, many times. I curse like a sailor.
I try to be respectful, but well, and this one is like big surprise here. Discontent. Yes, lots of discontent.
Yeah, your cards are
loss,
horrible.
suffering. Yes, they're awful.
In answer to your question, the next 2 to 3 days, we're talking about Black Friday. We're talking about Gray Monday. It's not good. The karma comes to haunt. Look, what did we expect was going to happen? Like, what did people think was going to happen? Like, Arabs voted for Trump because they thought he would be better on Gaza. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Chickens home to roost. Look at the American
Chickens
people
coming home to roost.
to roast in jail. Oh my God, you
Oh
guys!
my God,
Look
I
at
don't
this.
like this.
Outcome swindlers. Damn girlfriends and boyfriends. This is bad news. Strife, fighting. We're going to see fighting in the next couple of days. What did we expect?
Yeah. Well, when you affect
You and
people,
I knew this was going to happen, but
yeah.
don't you think the average Trump voter just really is shocked? They just didn't know.
Well,
They didn't know.
that supposedly that's what they voted for. They thought he was going to fix the economy. You know, I know it's become cliche now, but the price of eggs and things like that.
Yeah.
Instead, they're getting their nest eggs destroyed. You know, someone was joking, the cost of eggs are going up, but our nest eggs are being destroyed right now. You know, it's yeah, I don't think anything is going to enrage people more than having their personal finances, their own pocketbook obliterated. Oh, this is going to make people very angry. And maybe that's what it's going to take. People need to get really mad right now and fight and stand up. John
Zawacki says that he was the first person in the chat. What happened? Let's go back. I saw your comment. But when we go all the way back, yeah, until we air, we can't see the comments. The first question we got was from Gloria, I think. Gloria and Gloria. Was it? No, Gloria was the last. Or we go this way. This is how we go backwards.
I'd have to scroll through the questions.
Was it Ann Dillon and Jay and I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So if we don't see you, it's probably because it got cut off before we. Anyway, did you have fun, my love? It's already past 6.
Well, you know what? I always have fun working with you and fun with all the people, but today, yeah, a lot of bad energy and stuff and things coming up in the cards. I always feel bad about that because I always like to have something of hope and optimism, and I believe we will. But yeah, it's not.
We will have hope and optimism because
but this month looks like a real.
Well, we knew. I specifically will say the next 2 to 3 weeks of April are pretty brutal, but I keep singing that song, "A Time for Everything Under Heaven." That there's a time for war and there's a time for peace, and a lot of stuff is passing away this month.
Yeah,
next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah,
but the next 2 weeks are very, very hard. As people begin to feel more and more threatened financially, we're going to start seeing people behaving with more and more desperation, violence, anger, etc. And so what is important for you to do and for me to do is for us to all be in peace. Yes. Be in your center. This is why I sold my stock last month, and I told everybody else I'm selling my stock. Was because I said I'm going to listen to my gut this time, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah. But we've been talking about that for quite a while. People have just got to find their own peace, their own love, whatever that looks like. You know, I've been preaching the message. You know, if it's cooking a meal in the kitchen, it's working in your garden, spending time with your family, or me working on my art or writing, whatever it is that gives you personal joy, focus on that and not feed the negativity, the collective consciousness.
That is
I
right.
think that's how
Very,
we're going
very
to
true.
survive this. Yeah.
So, what's going on with you in case anybody wants to reach you
Oh,
for a tarot reading or for a medical consult? How do
well,
they reach you?
you can always reach me at, my name is reverse, one word, Dransfieldchuck at gmail.com.
And if you need to make an appointment with me, you can do so through Booksy or by contacting Chuck. Either way, I will get you in as well.
I love talking to you on the phone and booking appointments for Whimsy. I get to know a lot of you personally this way.
Yeah, he's really good
Well,
at that.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay, well, be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. And we'll see you next time. Oh, I said April 4th. Someone said you mentioned April 4th. So I guess yeah, so that's in the next 2.5 days. Yeah. Oof. Thank you, Valerie. So put a pin in it. Yeah. Sorry. I always feel like I just feel like I'm Debbie Downer when I have to give news like that, you know?
No, well,
But I
that's
feel
the way
like I'm
I
saving
felt
people
today.
too, because now you know not to put your money in for them.
Yeah, no, I felt that way too. The cards. I mean, we want to be optimistic. We want to send a good message, but we also want to be honest with whatever it is we're receiving. You know, today was one of those days.
Yeah.
We're,
All right.
We're going to survive it, folks.
We will. Well, you guys are going to be fine. Love you guys. We'll see you next
Love you
time.
guys. Thank you so much. See you next time.